Welcome to the next episode of the Hustlr Podcast. And today I am with Jian from Jiao team. And Jiao team is a super cool cafe, and
Thank you.
They're located in the center of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So it's Jiao team, and can you just share a little bit, Jen? Like, what does Jiao team mean? Like,
Right. So Jiao team in Cantonese means hotel.
Hotel.
So the reason why we call it Jiao team is because of the history of the space,
Right.
of the building itself. To be frank, so the building used to be a hotel back in 1910. We went to the Malaysian archives to just check out the pictures and the history about the space.
Right.
And we found out that this used to be an end lot.
Okay.
Right? And what you see over there, the squares, we kind of assume it used to be a window, and it overlooks the railway station right in front of Kota Raya, which is now discontinued already for a very long time.
I see. So
Yeah.
this place is rich in history.
Yeah, very.
When do you think this building was, built? Do you know?
It was built in 1910.
1910.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
So shortly after that, it was a hotel, and
So you just you maintain like the entire architecture. You tried not to touch.
yes,
you know,
we tried
or-
to preserve everything as original as possible
and rebrand it into a
event space and a cafe.
right. The
the
beautiful place you have. by
Thank
the
you,
way.
thank you.
Yep.
The reason why we chose our focus to be an event space is because nowadays the trend is that people are going into more smaller, more intimate kind of spaces to do events rather than going to hotel ballrooms.
Yep.
Some might say is a bit boring to go to like ballrooms and all. They want something different. That's why we're trying to bank on the fact that, on the idea of event space.
Okay, so before we get into that,
Yeah.
why don't you share with our audience more about yourself? How
course.
Jiao team came about. What were you doing before Jiao team, and your what do you study in uni or college?
Right.
Yeah, so just shoot away, man.
Okay, so I started off going to college, doing A-levels, didn't know what I wanted to do back then. The reason why I took on A-levels is because it has a broader career option.
Right. So you weren't sure what you wanted to do at the
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Okay.
But
I've
actually that's
been
not
there.
completely true. I did know, but it was just like a
Backup plan, kind of thing.
I wouldn't say backup plan. It was more like a dream kind of thing, something that you think of. That something. Maybe I should tell you what is it exactly.
Yeah. Please do.
I wanted to be a pilot.
Yep.
So back then, or rather now, in fact, is that being a pilot is all very glamorous.
You earn big bucks.
You earn big bucks. You get to travel different kind of countries.
Yeah, travel with hot air stewardess.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so I went to A-levels waiting for my interview process with these two airlines, and they are Malaysian Airlines and AirAsia, which I've already applied prior to
Enrolling into
A-levels.
Yep.
So while waiting for that, I got a call back from both these airlines, went through the interviews, but unfortunately I did not pass all 3 interview stages.
Right. Okay.
And that kind of put me down a bit and trying to think what I'm really, really, really good at, or rather what I really wanted to do. you know?
Okay. So what did you really want to do at
Okay.
that time?
At that time, I was young. I was in the minds of making money, trying to be more independent. I would say be more financially free,
I see.
in a shorter period of time.
I see.
Yeah, in a fast track kind of way.
So what was your decision back then?
My decision back then was just to get through A-levels
Yeah.
and then get the sufficient results to be able to go to uni.
Okay.
Exactly. So
Right. So what do you do for uni?
So for uni, I went to the School of Hospitality basically. So I did hotel management, and actually at that point also, I didn't really think of actually working in a hotel or being in the service industry and all that. I've always admired going to like restaurants and cafes just to.
That's still hospitality, I guess.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, but as a customer, and I started looking at how things were run, their standard operating procedure, how the flow is altogether, and it kind of intrigued me in a way to find out more about this.
Okay.
And then when I went into School of Hospitality, I found out that I'm actually okay lah. I'm
pretty good at it.
pretty good at it, and at the same time, like interests me lah. There's a sense of making people happy in a way through service.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I like, because all the while I've always looked at like videos of people eating, and then I would want to be that person that actually prepare that meal for you, that kind of thing.
And make people happy with what you serve.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you that kind of satisfaction, I would say.
Russ, do you think that is one of your primary motivations when you started Jiao Team, for example?
Definitely one of it. I've always been in tune to learn new things every single time.
Right.
This is something that excites me,
I see.
Yeah, be it something that I've never done before, and I'm always excited to learn,
Okay.
to be the best at what it is,
At what you do at making people happy with what you serve.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a fantastic dream, man. So I'm just very curious. Like after uni, did you start Jiao Team right away? No, right?
No, I didn't. Of course.
So what happened then?
Well,
just taking it back a little bit.
During the course of my school hospitality, we were actually required to do internships. So
Okay.
those internships requires us to work in a hotel or work in a restaurant, something related to do with the course.
So what did you do?
So my first internship was with Traders Hotel.
Traders
So
Hotel.
I was
KL.
moved around in the department. I was in the concierge, I was in room service, I was in housekeeping, I was in F&B, the cafe. So I had a little bit of taste
Of everything.
here and there, and I realized that this is something that I can excel in. I can do it better
Than what's out there.
Yeah, in lack of better words, I would say I feel like I can improve
Okay.
customer service, and that's
Right.
why at that point I've already felt that I want to have my own space to be able to inspire and to educate at the same time.
And make people happy.
Make people
also,
happy. Yeah, at the
right?
end of the day is to make people happy, right?
Right. So that's a very noble motivation, I feel. And how's it coming along for you so far? When running Jiao Team, like have you, met people, or are there any customer experiences where where you've influenced them so much, you made them so happy that what's the single most valuable experience for you? What do you think?
I guess the most valuable one would be making friends. You never thought that like your customers can be your friends as well. I have a few customers that come back from time and time again, and they have become my friends now. And that's something I enjoy as well. The human interaction.
I see.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Like, so, which part, okay, so after your internship, you also didn't start Jiao Team, right? So what
No.
do you do after that?
So my first job was with full-time job was with a sports house. It's called
Oh.
Royal Sporting House.
Yep.
I went into sales.
Mm-hmm.
In the minds of sales is the fastest making money out of it. If I really work hard, you bank on the commissions and everything, so that at the end of the day I can have that fund to build what Jiao Team is today.
I see. So you used your first job as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
To gain enough
Yeah.
capital.
Yeah.
So that you can realize your dream.
Yeah. At that point, I already have in mind that I want to have my own space, F&B place.
Right.
And I was in it to just make the money, save a sum to start up a capital, and then to start up a place.
Cool. But so aside from the money,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that the sales role
Mm-hmm.
has helped you run Zhao Team better as well?
Oh
Because
yeah,
you know
definitely.
sales is a very
Yeah.
human interaction. There's also some customer service
Yeah.
elements involved,
Yep.
I believe, right?
Yep.
So can you share a little bit more about that, like how sales has
Well,
helped you?
in the beginning, of course, I went in blind, not knowing what to expect.
Right? It's your first ever full-time
first
job.
ever full-time job as a salesperson. Had to run around here and there. Definitely quite a bit of a challenge, but as long as at the back of your head you know that is something that you want to achieve, you keep doing what you're doing right now, and then at the end of the day, you
To get
achieve
closer
that
to your goal.
Yeah, get closer to your goal. And sales definitely help in a way that you read body languages better, you understand what your customer wants, and then you propose whatever it is that they
And
need.
make changes to your business, maybe to serve your customers needs
Yeah,
better. right?
basically to understand them better.
Right. So that's a very, very important element. And I feel
yeah.
that in this age where, smaller businesses are coming up to challenge
Yep.
the bigger corporations, like, as you mentioned, a lot of people prefer small and more intimate spaces than, say a hotel ballroom, even though they're a multinational company.
Yep.
And the reason being, I feel it's because people want a more personalized, a more special experience that all these big organizations, like bigger hotel ballrooms, they cannot provide, right? So I think what you're doing here is really, really awesome. And you also mentioned,
Well, I mean, not to say that the hotels cannot provide. It's just that people are looking for a different kind of mood altogether.
that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's-
that makes sense.
not in terms of service, I would say. I think hotels definitely can provide the absolute
Really, really
good service as well, but it's just the change.
Experience.
Yeah, the change of environment is something that most people are looking for.
I see.
Yeah.
And that gives like a lot of opportunity for small businesses to, cater to,
Yeah,
to
to cater to
deliver
that.
these kind of experiences, correct? So after the sales job, how, can you just go deeper into that process, after what was that thing that made you, okay, I'm done with this job and I'm gonna go out and do what I want to do now?
Well, it's a bit of a luck as well, because my other business partner came to me with an idea. Like, he has this space empty, and he wanted to start off as a studio and a gallery.
Right.
Yeah, and I for one want a space for myself as well. But at that point, I didn't build the enough capital yet.
Right.
But with him coming into play, I thought, okay, you have a space, let's do something about it. Because it can't be just a studio or a gallery, because the ROI is not there. You can't make money every day out of just being a studio and gallery. And both of us came together and just discussed, hey, let's do a cafe. Let's make people the frequency more, and people coming in and out.
Right. It's like a more like a daily hustle kind of thing,
Daily
rather than like
hustle.
you rent this studio,
Yeah.
use our stuff, and then maybe you won't come back
Yeah,
for quite some time, right?
yeah. It's
Right,
not a
so-
constant stream of
Of revenue.
revenue. Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Cool. Then so after that you dove straight in to building
Yeah.
something?
Both of us actually had no experience in terms of F&B business of our own, but I had studied hospitality, and I maybe know a bit here and there, but I've never been a barista. So here I'm not only the co-owner, I'm the barista as well. I designed the menu, everything from A to Z, and the struggles in the beginning is definitely kind of painful.
Yeah, starting out is always the hardest.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, so you maybe want to elaborate a little bit more of what you had to go through before like this whole thing materialized. Like, did you have to learn about coffee making, because as you mentioned, you didn't have any experience with making coffee?
Yeah.
Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So before this place opened, I mean, we already had our business plan in mind, but both of us didn't have anything. So I went out to do a part-time job in a cafe just to understand
How the business runs.
How the business is run, what kind of customers do you attract, what kind of customers come to cafes,
Okay.
what is it that you need to do, what kind of products you should have, things of everything lah, basically. So I had a bit of taste of that here and there, and I had to actually, practice how to be a barista, because barista is not just about making coffee. It's about setting the tone of the day. For example, over here at Chow Team, we have 2 different kind of beans. And these 2 different kind of beans have different flavor profiles altogether. But to get that flavor profile, you need to constantly, every day, calibrate the grinder and your machine as well, so that you get that taste that you want
From that bean.
from that bean.
And every day, that calibration is different.
Yes. So, not to say every single day, but it changes. Beans are like a life form, because it changes to the weather, to the humidity, to sunlight. Everything comes into play.
I see.
So you have to taste everything before you send it out. And
So that's setting the tone for the day.
yes, setting the tone for the day.
Okay. Interesting.
And to begin with, to set that tone of the day, to be able to set that tone of the day, I went through 20 cups of espressos every single day during the beginning. I had to taste, because I had no, I would say, proper training. I only learned from friends of mine
From the part-time job. Also.
from the part-time job as well, and I learned it from a friend of mine who actually owns a cafe, and he is a barista himself.
Okay.
But you can't learn every single thing in one day, right? There's definitely need to be like
A process.
and everything. So I had to, because he's busy with his cafe as well. So I had to come in here while construction was still going on. Before this place was open, I had to come in, just get the flow right, get the taste, everything. And as I mentioned, 20 cups of espressos every day is not good. Like
How do you feel? Like, what
No.
did it do to your body?
because coffee is high in acidity for sure, and sometimes you get an acid reflux as well.
Right.
Like, you feel a tummy ache, you get headaches, you feel sick, like you want to vomit,
Right.
things like that. So but I understood why I had to do all those, because I want to make sure that the coffee delivered to our customers today is a top quality kind of taste that
So your motivation at the end of the day was still, deliver that experience that can make people happy.
Yeah, exactly. And
Right. And that has pushed you to, just
yeah, correct. For myself, because I'm always excited to learn new things,
right.
and I want to be good at the things that I start.
Right.
Yeah, and for me, if I want to start something, I go full force.
Mm-hmm.
Like little things excites me actually. Like it's not always a one-way thing. Like for example, with my team here, most of them are fresh graduates, no experience in terms of F&B. Yes, I set the tone, I set the standard operating procedure, but at times they fill into the suggestions, and I learn from them as well, because I need to understand what it is in the generation, what they are looking for as well at the same time.
So I can totally relate to that because, starting this podcast, this show, this YouTube channel, I used to be extremely camera shy,
Okay.
right? But I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to, uncover stories of hustlers like you, hustlers all around the world actually, and share these stories to inspire the next generation to do the next thing. And this is what I wanted to do, but I suck in front of the camera.
I mean, same here, man.
Yeah, so but I had but I just went ahead and did it, just grab a camera and start talking crap in front of the camera, like just spouting nonsense even,
Yeah.
Just to get comfortable.
Yep.
Because I feel that the more you do something, the
It gets
faster you
easier.
improve.
Yeah,
You know-
definitely.
the faster you improve, it gets easier and becomes like second nature now.
Yep, definitely.
But-
I can totally relate with that, because when we first opened in the first week, we had a lot of customers. We only started with myself and my business partner.
Right.
2 of us running the show,
Okay.
and it was heavy. I was in charge of more of the drink side. He was more in charge of the food. and both of us had to literally run from one end to the other just to take orders and everything, because hiring people in the F&B industry is not easy as well. And of course, for us, we are very picky as well, because we want to
You want to stay true to
Yeah.
making people happy.
yeah
right?
ensure that the customer service is there,
Mm.
And like I said, in the beginning, in the first week when I was making coffee, I couldn't really engage with my customers
While making coffee.
while
you
making
mean?
coffee. Yeah,
Okay.
I couldn't really talk to them, or especially when people sit at the bar. So when people sit at the bar, for me, it's your duty behind the bar to actually engage with them and then talk to them no matter what, because there's a reason why people sit at the bar, right? Sometimes they want to talk to the person behind the bar and then have a good time, or at least that's how I feel. And in the beginning, it was difficult. Like when I was making coffee, it was just making coffee. Everything is just tuned out. Like
Because you had to concentrate.
yeah, I have
right?
to concentrate because I was still new. I didn't, not to say I didn't know what I was doing, but I need to give my 100% focus to making that good cup of coffee.
I see.
Whereas compared to now, we've been operational for like 1.5 years.
One
It's
and a half years.
definitely easier. I can make coffee. I can.
But it's all tuned into muscle memory because
Yeah.
you're doing it day in, day out. You
Yeah.
get better at it, right? So, I think I have a question to ask, and this is more for the sake of our audience
Yep, go
who
for it.
hasn't started any of the side hustles, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure before you quit your job, I'm pretty sure there's this anxiety,
Mhm.
like this fear, like, oh shit, I'm gonna quit my job. If I quit my job, I'm gonna lose this stable stream of income, and I'm gonna jump into something totally new and something that I'm completely not used to. I don't even know what the hell am I doing.
Mhm.
For example, did you have this anxiety in the beginning when you quit?
Well, there is that certain anxiety of not being able to fund myself, or rather fund my lifestyle, I would say. But I guess I was fortunate enough that if let's say I do really hit rock bottom, I always have my family behind my back.
Right.
But of course, having your family behind your back doesn't entirely mean that you can just fuck it, I'm just gonna do this, and then if this fail, then fail lah, right? It's
Yeah.
not like that at all. For me, if I do fail, I will still at least do my best to make this work.
Right. So I think I think that's very, very powerful. There's a very, very powerful message here. I
Yeah.
think for those of you who are just starting out with your first hustle, for example, instead of
Definitely not think about, for me at least, definitely not think about plan B, because if you're always focused on, if you're thinking about plan B, that means you're already setting your mind for failure.
correct, okay, so
Right.
I'm like that as well.
Yeah.
When I quit my job, I
Yeah.
told my boss, you don't have to write me a recommendation letter. I want to burn all of my bridges and
Yeah.
push myself to succeed.
Yeah.
But you see, that doesn't work for a lot of people.
Mhm.
There are two types of people. You might be, you are more, your risk appetite is higher. But there are some people, they have kids,
Yeah.
they have like aging parents, that they have to take care of.
Basically, they need to put food on the table.
Correct. So I think the most, to structure your mind to be able to take this kind of leap, I think it's very important to know what you have. Like for you, you have your parents. For me, I know that I'm still young. You still have energy.
Yeah.
And learn how to be grateful for these things, and then think, what's the worst that can happen if this thing fails?
Yeah.
And once you put that down, once you clarify that, I think it's easier for you to visualize.
Yeah.
If you fail, that's the worst. The worst thing that can happen is, your whole family has to eat plain bread or drink water
And
for
that
maybe
could
2 to
be-
3 months.
Yeah, and that
But
is
you see, that's
temporary.
that's temporary, and
Yeah.
that's actually not too bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Because as humans, I believe you learn to adapt.
Correct.
I mean, over the years, human beings have been adapting all the way. I mean,
Yeah. So I think there's a very, very powerful message there. Knowing what you have and then
work on it. you
work
know?
on it,
Or
work
rather-
with it,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Instead
rather-
of complaining about, oh shit, I don't have investors.
Yeah.
My father's not Bill Gates. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, don't just sit down in your room thinking about what if or what could happen and not actually,
Just nail it down. Like,
Yeah.
what's the worst that can happen?
yeah.
Yeah, and then you will feel like you will be more liberated and you will be more focused in
Yeah.
achieving in pursuing what you want to
Yeah.
pursue, right? But I'm also pretty sure when you just started out of Jiao Team, in this 1.5 years of operation, how
Yep.
much has this business changed? Also, this is also for the people who haven't started. Just to give them a little bit of insights on how, like, on how a business can evolve.
Okay.
Right? Like, can you just share a little bit more how much, like, what has changed,
So-
from day one?
Definitely a significant change you can see is the team that we have, because as I mentioned earlier, we started with just 2 people. Service was a little slow, not very attentive, but now that we have a full team, we can definitely grow better. And not in the sense of just in Jiao Team itself. So basically myself and my business partner can, take a step back a bit to think about how to grow Jiao Team as a business further.
Right. So you've been delegating.
Yeah. At the end of the
a
day, At the end of the day, you need to have a solid team. You need to train these guys to represent you well and represent the brand well at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So like day one, like when you guys had like set up this place, right? Like, who was the target audience in your mind?
Okay.
And how has that changed?
Right. In the beginning, we are smack in Chinatown, KL, and our first thought was when we opened this space, okay, let's cater to the tourists.
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah. It's
influx,
central.
yeah.
Yeah. Central location.
There's a lot of tourists coming in and out here. There's a lot of hotels that caters to them, backpackers place as well. And we thought, okay, let's do it, to cater to them.
Yeah.
But as we began our business in the first week, we realized that, hey, there are not many tourists coming in, like a lot more locals, especially the working class.
Yeah.
And in our mind, our business plan was to be just a sandwich place and coffee.
Yep. Something simple.
Yeah, which is something that works overseas,
Yeah.
but not here. When it comes to feeding the local crowd, and then especially the working crowd during lunch hours.
Yeah.
And when they came in, people were asking us, "Hey, is this all you have?
Like, did you have a very small menu or something?
Yeah. We only had like probably just sandwiches, pastries, and cakes. That's
Right.
it. And when they came in during lunch hours, some people were just telling me, "Oh, this is not lunch. This is not a meal." So it got us thinking, like, "Oh, crap! I think we need to revise our menu. Something that can feed the working class." So we came up with like different things like pasta, because the market demanded for it. Basically,
And you guys didn't expect this when you guys just launched this
no,
business,
not
right?
at all. I mean, when they came in the first week, they was like, "Do you guys have pastas?" So, few months down the road, we did some R&D, and then we came up with pastas. Fine, we have pastas, and then when they came in again, "Is this all you have? Do you have rice?" So then we came out with a rice menu, and that didn't work as well. They came in like, "Oh, is this all you have? I think got no promo, like buy this, I can free a coffee or something like that."
Like lunch
Lunch set basically.
So that's a huge thing in Malaysia, like to pull the lunch crowd, they usually have
For sure.
lunch sets. So will you guys be implementing stuff like that in the
We
future?
already have actually. That's how we managed to get more customers in on weekdays especially, because weekdays from 12 to 2 usually we feed the working crowd. So we
Right.
have a lunch special for them. It comes with a meal and a drink basically.
I see.
So they see the value of coming here on top of the service that we are providing them.
I see.
Yeah.
So you see, the reason why I asked you that question about how your business has evolved over time, since day one, is because I want to put this into context for our audience. A lot of them think that, oh, a lot of people who have not started a hustle before think that, okay, if I start this, it's gonna be permanent, like it can't change. But the thing is, you will only learn after you launch.
Yep.
After you go out there, get customer feedback.
Yeah.
Only then you will actually know what the market truly wants.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very important to first take a step out, maybe do some market research and some preliminary market research or validation and see what kinds of people you have in your mind. And it turns out that your business is actually serving a totally different crowd. And that happens way more often than
Yeah. Definitely, you
than
cannot be.
usually expected.
I mean, 100% right when you want to start your own business.
Correct, and there's no perfect timing,
Yeah,
there's no perfect audience.
There's no perfect timing. There's no perfect audience. It's just the perfect mind, I would say.
Yeah. The
Like,
perfect mindset. Like
mindset.
just
Yeah,
go out,
correct.
learn,
Mindset.
evolve, adapt,
Yep.
and
Yep.
change.
Yep.
And a lot of people think, oh, you can only launch a business once.
Yep.
But actually, what you should be doing is launch it once, do a small launch, learn, fail, make mistakes, implement, fix these mistakes, and then
Yeah.
relaunch again.
Correct.
Like, that's totally cool.
Because mistakes are the only things that will help you improve as well. Like you learn from that mistake.
Correct.
You know,
And like, a lot of people say, go out and learn from other people's mistakes. But the thing is, you're not in their shoes, and you won't be able to
relate
relate
exactly 100%.
and completely understand
Yeah.
what these things do. So keep the mistakes at a minimal level. Just be flexible.
Yeah.
What you can do is pivot, change your direction a little bit here and there to serve the market better. And I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, definitely.
So I also want to ask this question, like, since you've been running for 1.5 years, right? Are you happier as a person compared to when you're working as a full-time job?
Well, definitely happier. But I gotta be honest with you, there are some days where you feel like, oh no, I might not have a salary next month, that kind of thing. Like, if sales are bad, this is your own business, you might fear that, oh shit, as compared to like a steady job, you have like every month or so you got income, right?
Yep.
But sometimes you gotta think about, man, if let's say my business doesn't work for this month, next month, well, no money, then how? That kind of thing.
I see.
Yeah, so definitely happier in terms of satisfying what I want to do, or rather what we want to do here. But at the end of the day, I feel it's how to say,
There are ups and downs.
there are ups and downs for sure. You gotta be ready for it. As long as your goal is solid and you put your 110% towards achieving that goal, you will definitely achieve it.
Yeah. So I'll be frank. I have faced times like that myself. Even now, because like my business is completely bootstrapped. I didn't have an investor. I didn't have I don't have a very strong cash reserve for most of my businesses because we only put in very minimal amount of capital, but we put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears,
Yeah.
right? And that's hustle, and
Yeah.
that's the hustle. Okay. So what kind of stuff? What do you do to minimize? Does that drive you? Like, you say this fear of not being able to pay your bills next month, for example. Does that drive you to do better?
Yeah, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, I did say that if I did hit rock bottom, there's the support of the family. But I mean,
You don't want to
you
hit
don't
rock
want to
bottom,
lah.
right?
As
At the
in,
end of the day.
I mean, you are at that age, and you also want to start your family your own, right?
Yeah.
And definitely fearful. That's why you turn that fear into, I would say, motivation.
Yeah.
Like you turn it around and see it as a challenge, and then you conquer that whole quest, I would say. Like, for example, in the F&B industry, like the bread is not good. You find ways to get a better recipe.
Right.
We find ways to improve.
And
We
every
are-
problem you solve,
every problem you have to solve it no matter what. There's no, how to say, um, there's in our minds, both my business partner and I, there's nothing is impossible. I would say, you need to have a solution. There's everything you can solve on.
correct.
Yeah.
And you have to be solutions driven. And
Yeah.
you see, when you're running a F&B business, and if your competitor is running an F&B business,
Yeah.
both of you guys will probably face the same problems.
Yep.
And
Definitely.
whoever solves that problem better will rise up on top,
Yep.
right? So a lot of people see problems as problems and they just leave it at that. Oh my god, I
Yeah.
shouldn't start an F&B business because what if the bread
Because
goes bad?
it's the easy way out.
Right, that's the
People-
easy way out.
Yeah.
And
But
what hustlers do, you solve that goddamn problem
yeah.
and make it work,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Just work harder. You don't know how to solve that problem, learn.
Yep.
Learn how to solve the fucking
Yep.
problem.
Exactly.
And I feel that anxiety is actually one of the best learning drivers. Like it drives you to learn the fastest because when you're when you're anxious, your adrenaline
Kicks in and
kicks
then,
in and then you just, oh my god, I need to get this sorted, I need to get this sorted, I need to fix this problem and fix this problem, and that will make you a better hustler, I think.
yeah, for sure.
Right? So cool, man. Like I'm glad to see that you're happier now. Like
Thank you. Happier, yes. Definitely tiring. You gotta be ready.
But it's more fulfilling, right? Even if
yeah,
you're
definitely more
tired,
feeling. Yeah.
when
you are tired for a good reason.
Yeah.
I think
yeah. That's
you gotta be ready, lah. That's what I'm gonna say. Like, if and
you got to be ready for the uncomfortable things to happen.
yeah,
Right. Not ready, as in perfect timing ready.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because I don't think there's such thing
No,
as perfect
definitely
timing,
not. I mean,
Right. So okay. If you think, if you had to choose 3 skills or 3 characteristics that hustlers need to have when they embark on their first, side hustle, like what do you think are the most important factors?
Okay. Definitely need to have, for me at least in F&B side, definitely an interest, in what you want to
And
do.
passion,
Passion, yeah.
Yeah.
Perseverance.
That's definitely one of the key characteristics, I think, for any hustler.
Yeah, and I would say keep an open mind as well, but not to the extent that anything is okay. But an open mind meaning you're open to suggestions from people or rather the willingness to learn. I would say
Yeah.
and I think the key factor is definitely networking also. Yeah.
Why do you say that? Like just
Well-
elaborate a little bit.
Okay, nowadays, especially in the field of F&B cafe specifically, a lot of people are Instagrammers, influencers as well. And
Yeah.
if you know
As in cafe owners or cafe goers?
cafe goers mostly, like when
Okay,
they come over to your place, they are mostly like influencers, Instagrammers, they take pictures. Social media is like a powerful tool, right? So you need to have that relationship as well at the same time with these marketers that can actually, put your brand in the social media and they have like
For free.
for free, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And as a
Hustle
business
in.
owner, you need to think about minimizing your costs and
Maximizing your
Yeah,
returns,
exactly.
right? It's always about that, minimizing risk, minimizing
Yeah.
costs,
Yeah.
maximizing
Correct.
returns. Cool, man. What else? Okay, I have one more question for
Yep.
you before we end the show.
go for it.
Okay? If you could start all over again from day one, before you started Jiaoting, what would you have done differently? What would you do differently? Sorry.
Would I do differently? Oh, nobody has really asked me that question before, but if I were to do it differently, I think I would do more research in terms of the market, because initially we thought that this space caters to tourists,
Yep.
based on our walkabouts in Chinatown. I think
see.
we need to widen our radius to capture the other audiences around it. Like,
Yep.
they are ample of officers, working class people, and that is, you know, there are more weekdays than weekends lah. Let's just put it that way, you know.
Yeah.
And they always come to Chinatown area to eat because, especially this street, Jian Sultan, is known as like the street food of Chinatown. I would say because there
The
are
food street.
yeah.
Oh. Food street? or
Food street, sorry.
Yeah.
Food street, yeah.
Okay.
Because there's like a lot of like food around lah.
Yeah.
So,
I've been to a few. They're really, really amazing.
oh yeah, it is. So that I would do differently. You know, understanding the market better.
And how would you do this? You know, like just some actionable tips. Like how would you do
Okay.
it? Yeah.
Okay, let me come back to the space that we have.
Yeah.
We don't have a kitchen here.
Okay.
Definitely, I would want to build a kitchen to be able to be more flexible in terms of cooking our own items and churning out a more proper meal in a way, as how people put it.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
But you
'cause-
guys stayed true to what you wanted to do.
yeah,
And
we
you
did.
seem
We
to
still don't
be-
have a kitchen,
Yeah.
but we made it work within our space, like buying inductions, by buying, you know, different things, and looking out for like central kitchens that can help us out. Yeah.
But you wouldn't have known this before you launched.
Yeah, I
right?
wouldn't. Yeah, I
So
wouldn't
it's
have
like a
known,
chicken and
yeah.
egg
Chicken and egg thing. Yeah.
So guys, for those of you listening, if you haven't started anything, like hustlers have this mindset, okay, like it's very, very simple. Version 1 is better than version 0. If you haven't launched, you can't learn. So these are like really more like philosophical questions.
Yep.
It's more like a philosophical question because you will always think back in hindsight to think there's this thing that you can do better. But if you're gonna launch another cafe in the future, you would put that into practice, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Because you've grown as a
Yeah.
person, and that's what you want to be focusing on, especially if you're just starting out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You got to put it to the test first before, you know, knowing whatever it is that it can potentially be, or, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the end of this episode, Jian. Thank you so much for being a sport. You know,
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on to the show. And I have a
welcome.
little gift for you.
Oh.
And it's a t-shirt. It's a Hustlr t-shirt.
Thank
And I
you.
hope you'll wear it. Because,
Yes, I will. I'll wear it here actually.
Thank you. Because I think that you are a certified hustler. And I
Thank you
hope
very
that this
much.
episode can really, really inspire our audience, especially those of you who are into starting your own food and beverages business. I hope that this video and podcast episode has actually helped you or inspired you to actually go out and do it if you're still on the fence.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the end of this podcast episode. Guys, if you're ever in the area, especially for those of you outside of Malaysia, you know, when you come to Kuala Lumpur, check out Jaotim. It's JAOTIM. It's an amazing event space, amazing coffee, amazing sandwiches, amazing food.
Thank you very much.
Just go on TripAdvisor, check them out, you know. Show Jian some support.
Thank you.
And if you like this episode and if you think someone can benefit from this episode, please share it with that friend or family member. And if you like this episode and you want to listen to more content like this, remember to hit the subscribe button. Our podcast is available on iTunes, we're available on Spotify, on all the major podcasting platforms, even on Google Podcasts. So that's it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.